My wife missed our daughter's birthday during her work trip, came home distant, wearing turtlenecks, and with a bruise on her neck she swore was a bug bite. I didn't believe her, and when the truth came out, it changed how I see her and our entire marriage. I, 27M, am currently in a serious argument with my wife, 28F, and it's unlike anything we've experienced before. We've had disagreements in the past, but this one has left me feeling stuck and unsure of what to do next. For some background, we're college sweethearts and have been married for nearly 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter. While our relationship hasn't been perfect and has come with its fair share of challenges including navigating cultural differences and pushback from family, we've always worked through things. She's my first love and my best friend. My wife works in the corporate world, and every year her company hosts a week-long work retreat. This year's retreat was in Las Vegas. Normally, I adjust my work schedule and join her so we can turn it into a short trip for ourselves and sometimes even make it a family thing. This year, that wasn't possible. Our daughter experiences pretty severe anxiety when it comes to long-distance travel, and this time, she simply wouldn't budge. We're working on it, but we decided not to push it. So I stayed home to take care of things while my wife went on her own. It was disappointing because these trips have been a way for us to reconnect, both as a couple and a family. Lately, her demanding work hours have really strained her work-life balance, and we've been looking forward to spending some quality time together. We briefly discussed the idea of her skipping the retreat. While it's technically optional, not going is looked down upon in her company, and she's currently building a lot of important connections. Ultimately, she decided to go. But even before she left, something about her behavior felt off. We usually have a system for staying connected when one of us is away. For the first day or so, she acted normally. But then she started becoming distant, ignoring texts, claiming she never saw important messages, and rushing through phone calls with me and our daughter, even when she wasn't scheduled for retreat activities. The breaking point was our daughter's birthday. Since the retreat overlapped with it, we'd planned a little virtual celebration over FaceTime. Our daughter was looking forward to it. It was something my wife had promised her. But then she canceled at the last minute, saying some colleagues were coming up to her hotel room after a seminar. It felt like she was asking for my permission to break the promise. I told her I wasn't going to give her that, nor was I going to force her to follow through. That choice was hers to make. She said I wasn't being fair, and this was a networking opportunity. They were business-oriented and wouldn't understand her stepping away for family time. I told my wife that the choice to cancel the call was hers to make, but she'd need to explain it to our daughter herself. She promised she'd make it up to her the next day. Unfortunately, our daughter didn't understand and ended up crying. My wife hung up, leaving me to comfort her alone. The whole situation didn't sit right with me, especially since she never followed through with the promised rain check. During the retreat, she was pretty active on social media. One of her coworkers, 23M, was in almost every post, photos, videos, you name it. He was constantly by her side, and in one picture, he had his arm around her in a way that seemed a little too familiar to me. He's a newer hire in her department, and she was assigned to supervise him. I've never really liked the guy. He seems to have poor boundaries. At one point, he texted her something like, "You're exactly the kind of woman I need to keep me in line." My wife brushed it off, saying she felt sorry for him because he hasn't fit in well with the team. She took him under her wing since it was his first retreat. But any time I asked about what was going on, her answers were vague. She was either too tired or busy networking. Something just felt off. I've seen her at these retreats before, and this wasn't her usual behavior. Then, the day before she came home, she mentioned over the phone that she had a bruise on her neck but insisted it was a bug bite. When she got home and I saw it in person, it didn't look like a bug bite at all. To me, it looked exactly like a hickey. She played it down, despite how concerned she sounded about it when we talked earlier. I didn't bring it up right away because our daughter was around, but later when we were alone, I confronted her. She doubled down, insisting it was a bug bite. When I kept pressing, she asked what I was accusing her of. I told her the truth, that I didn't believe her and that I thought it was a hickey. That led to a big argument. She was hurt and angry, especially because infidelity is a sore subject for her. There's a history of it in her family. She accused me of looking for a reason to fight because of what happened with our daughter's birthday. I told her it had nothing to do with that. It was about the mark on her neck and my growing doubts. That conversation ended in a stalemate, and things between us remain unresolved. She insists it was just a bug bite, but I'm having a hard time believing that. Until now, I've never had a reason to doubt my wife. I've always trusted her. But that bruise doesn't look like a bug bite, it seems like something else entirely. My doubts have only deepened when I think about how distant and unlike herself she was during the Vegas retreat. Since she's been back, she's been wearing turtlenecks consistently, and our relationship has been stuck in a loop of tension swinging between arguments and moments where she showers me and our daughter with affection. Normally, open and honest communication gets us through tough times, but this time feels different. My accusation seems to have taken our conflict to a whole new level. I'm genuinely at a loss. I could really use some outside perspective on this. How should I move forward? Update. Things have been an emotional roller coaster, and I'm still trying to process everything. It took some time before my wife, 28F, and I were able to have an honest conversation about the bruise on her neck. We spent days caught between tense arguments and her trying to smother our daughter, 4F, and me with affection. She mostly kept the bruise covered with turtlenecks, but I watched it fade from red-purple to yellow as it healed. Any discussion about the Vegas retreat was off limits. She made it clear she was done talking about it and resented having to defend herself to her husband. I told her she was free to do whatever she wanted, but I wouldn't keep sharing a bed with someone I couldn't trust. So I moved into the guest room. We stopped talking entirely. The silence was heavy and even our daughter started picking up on it, which I hate. I try my best to shield her from our fights. One night, my wife came to the guest room and asked if we could talk. She'd clearly been crying. She told me she hated how things were between us and felt like she was losing me no matter what she did. I told her I needed the truth, no more excuses. That's when she confessed. She admitted to hooking up with her coworker, 23M, on our daughter's birthday. The hickey was from him. According to her, it was a heat-of-the-moment thing. They made out, there was some over-the-clothes touching, and then he performed oral on her. It stopped, she said, when he called her by a nickname I've always used for her. That snapped her back to reality. She went to wash her face and saw the hickey. When she confronted him, he laughed it off and called it her souvenir. She got angry and kicked him out of her room. She told me she'd been avoiding me out of guilt, but now she wanted to come clean because she didn't want to lie anymore. I asked her why she cheated. What was it about that guy she deemed worth risking everything? She told me it wasn't about that guy specifically, nor was it because she's unhappy in our marriage. She admitted she doesn't fully understand her own actions, but said a part of her feels broken. She shared that the more she looks at herself, the more she sees her father, 57M, someone who buried himself in work, became emotionally distant from his child, and cheated on her mom, 55F. She opened up about how her family never talked about anything real. Growing up, her mother never addressed the emotional fallout from any of it. I reminded her that her parents didn't make her cheat, she made that choice. She chose to entertain someone who repeatedly disrespected our relationship. At any point, she could have chosen us, our family. She acknowledged that. She said she wanted to blame her parents, but in the end, she knows the responsibility is hers. She apologized for the betrayal and for allowing it to get as far as it did. She told me she's willing to do whatever it takes to fix things, go to HR, quit her job, start therapy, anything. She just wants to make it right. But I told her I don't even know what right looks like anymore, or if it's possible. I always believed that no matter what, we could talk through things. But now, I'm not sure. She tried to rally us to insist we could still fight for our marriage. But I felt numb. I told her I didn't even recognize her anymore, not just because of what she did to me, but because of how she hurt our daughter. She felt like a stranger. She broke down and said she knows she failed as a wife and mother, but that she still loves us both deeply. She begged for another chance to hold our family together. I told her I couldn't give her that answer, not yet. I said we needed space. A separation. She didn't want that. She asked if we could stay under the same roof. But I told her it wasn't an option, I couldn't live like that. Either she left, or I would, with our daughter. She agreed to leave, saying she didn't want to disrupt our daughter's routine more than necessary. She asked only that I not keep our daughter away from her. Now she's staying with my in-laws, even though I know that's hard for her. Her relationship with them has always been strained. One of the most difficult parts of all this has been the impact on our daughter. Right now, she just thinks her mom is busy with work like usual. She hasn't asked too many questions yet. My mother-in-law called recently. She didn't defend what my wife did, but she is encouraging us to try and work through it. She shared how, over the years, she's heard my wife talk about me as the steady presence she always longed for. She believes there's still something worth saving if I'm open to it. Even though we faced some pushback from family throughout our relationship, my MIL was always in our corner. But now, I feel completely lost. I never expected something like this from my wife. She was my safe space. Now, I just feel hollow, numb, but somehow still hurting deeply. I still love her. That part hasn't changed. But everything else has: how I see her, myself, our relationship, even our family. It all feels different, heavier somehow, especially since the wound is still so fresh. Right now, I think this separation is the right call. I'm not sure about divorce, I haven't gone that far in my mind yet. I'm not set on anything. I honestly don't know where we go from here. All I do know is that my focus is on our daughter. I'm taking things one step at a time. That's all I can manage right now. Thanks again to everyone for the support. It truly means a lot. Update. Things have been pretty chaotic since the new normal settled in after my wife's 28F affair, but I'm doing my best to take it all one step at a time. We sat down with our daughter, 4F, and explained the separation in a way that made sense for her age, keeping it simple and assuring her that both of us love her deeply. We didn't go into the reasons behind it. She's always been a perceptive kid, but I don't think the reality of the separation has fully set in. To her, it just feels like her mom is busy with work again, which was already a common theme before. When they have visits, I've noticed our daughter being more withdrawn around her mom and more attached to me. At one point, my wife tried to play with her on this toy set, but our daughter snapped at her, saying she didn't want to play. Watching the emotional gap between them has been difficult to process. I always knew the imbalance between work and home life strained their bond, but now it's so much more visible. Before the Vegas trip, we were supposed to be working on reconnecting. Now I can see how broken things already were. Their relationship feels almost unfamiliar. Our daughter barely interacts with her mom now and seems distant in a way that reminds me of how she acts around strangers. At her age, I believe parents should be her safest and closest people, not this disconnected. That dynamic between them is something I've been thinking about a lot. Right now, my priority is making sure she's emotionally safe through all of this. As for my wife and me, she wants to reconcile. She's made it clear she wants to fix our marriage, not just for our daughter's sake, but because she still loves me. But for me, her words don't carry much weight right now. I told her I wish she had found that passion to fight for us before she chose to cheat. She continues to stand by her account of what happened with her coworker, 23M. According to her, she took pity on him because he didn't seem to fit in. He kept complimenting her and made her feel special, especially on harder workdays. That connection slowly grew into something more. Though she never labeled it an emotional affair at the time, it clearly was, and it eventually crossed into something physical during the retreat. She told me that while they only had sex once, the hickey came from foreplay. It was during oral sex that he used the nickname I always called her, which jolted her back to reality. She said she snapped at him for being immature about the hickey and kicked him out of her room. After that, she thought she could just quietly end things and fix our marriage like nothing happened. I asked her if she had her wedding ring on during all of this. She admitted she did. That part hit harder than I expected. It's a kind of pain I didn't even know I could feel. To me, our wedding rings always stood as a symbol of our love, our vows, and the connection we shared. But now, it feels like that meaning has been stained. She tarnished what those rings represented. I haven't been able to wear mine since. The pain doesn't go away, it just evolves. Every layer feels like a new level of heartbreak. She's taken some accountability and admitted that she blurred the lines between professional and personal. She's changed her number and says she's completely cut off contact with the coworker. She also reported the affair to HR. As of now, both she and the coworker have been suspended pending an investigation. The company's policy prohibits coworker relationships, and given that she was his mentor, the situation doesn't reflect well on her. They're also looking into whether she showed him any special treatment. Some people have suggested I confront the coworker directly. I've thought about it, but I'm just not there emotionally. I'm carrying a lot of anger toward him. The hickey, the nickname, he knew what he was doing. I don't see any benefit in reaching out. He isn't worth it. My priority is my daughter. I've decided to start marriage counseling, not with the goal of reconciliation, at least not right now, but to help navigate the separation in a way that protects our daughter and minimizes harm to her. Truthfully, I still feel numb. I never imagined my marriage or family would end up here. I've heard these kinds of stories before, seen them happen to others, and I thought I understood the pain. But nothing prepares you for what it feels like when it's your own life falling apart. I don't even recognize myself some days. I don't know what the future holds. It feels like an uphill climb, but I'm still showing up. That's all I can do at this point. Thanks again to everyone who's taken the time to reach out. Your support really means a lot. Update. Things haven't been easy, and honestly, I didn't expect them to be. I don't regret choosing separation, it was necessary. In many ways, I felt like I had no choice after the betrayal and the lies. I'm still trying to regain my footing and figure out what life looks like now. I've never been the kind of person to idealize others, and I didn't view my relationship with my wife, 28F, as perfect. But I truly didn't think this is how things would end up, not after everything we've been through together. While HR was still investigating the affair between my wife and her coworker, 23M, she decided to resign. Apparently, there was some resistance to her leaving. Some higher-ups wanted her to stay. I wasn't surprised. She's always been known as someone who gets things done, a reliable yes person. She's been with the company since her college internship. She said her resignation was part of showing me she's serious about cutting all ties with the guy. As for what happened to him or the result of the investigation, I honestly don't care. He's not my concern. We've officially started marriage counseling. It's unfamiliar territory for both of us. I wasn't sure what to expect, but so far, we've been talking about the course of our relationship, the affair, and what we hope to get out of therapy. My wife's explanation of how the affair began hasn't changed. She says she wasn't unhappy with me, but something inside her felt broken. The attention she got from him felt like a high, something she craved. The conversation eventually turned toward her family, specifically her dad's, 57M, infidelity, and how it shaped her as both a partner and a parent. She believes she mirrors him more than she'd like to admit. As a parent, she tried to overcompensate for her absence by buying our daughter, 4F, gifts. As a spouse, she told herself she was better than her father because her affair didn't turn physical until Vegas. She actually told her affair partner while they were there that they could hang out as long as things didn't get physical, like that made it any more acceptable. That line of thinking only proves how far she'd already gone mentally and emotionally. I keep coming back to the same thought. She had so many chances to make different choices. She could have chosen us, our family, our daughter, our life. But time and again, she chose herself. Our relationship wasn't enough to stop her. The rings we exchanged didn't matter. Not even our daughter's tears were enough to make her think twice. She put both of us on the tracks and watched the train come. She was selfish. She brings up how being called my nickname for her snapped her back to reality, like it's supposed to ease the blow somehow. But it doesn't. Not even a little. Honestly, I believe the only reason she stopped at oral was because she got what she wanted and didn't feel the need to go any further. I wasn't on her mind saying I was, just feels like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. I hadn't planned to say half the things I did during the session, but once I started talking, there was no turning back. Everything just came pouring out. She acknowledged it and admitted there are no excuses. Not her upbringing, not her parents, just her and her choices. She insisted that she loves both me and our daughter, and that she wants to fight for our family. But I told her that hearing "I love you" from her now feels empty. She shut out our daughter and me, her actual family, to give something deeply personal to someone else. She's beginning to understand that the issue goes far beyond the affair. She admits she struggled to connect with our daughter and that fear of messing up made her leave most of the parenting responsibilities to me. She thinks I've always been better at it anyway. She knows there are no words that can undo what's been done, but she says she wants to prove change through consistent actions, not promises. That's some of what we've started working through in therapy. It's still early days, but I do feel like it's helping us communicate better, at least in a way that's healthier for our daughter. Our therapist also recommended individual counseling, which I've started seriously looking into for myself. As for our daughter, not much has changed since my last update. She still doesn't seem to notice whether her mom is around or not. I've watched her go from chatty and energetic to totally silent the moment her mom walks in. I've scheduled play therapy for her. I'm not sure what to expect from it, but I'm hoping it will help. My priority is being fully present for her, no matter what. I know I have a long road ahead in terms of learning to trust again, if that's even possible. Before Vegas, I never had a reason to question my wife's loyalty. She had my trust completely, as someone I saw as my lifelong partner. I've been hurt before, but nothing's ever hit me like this. Right now, I'm just trying to keep my head above water and focus on what I still have, instead of getting lost in what's been taken from me. Thank you to everyone who's offered kind words or shared their own stories. Talking about this isn't easy, but I really do appreciate the support.